love you anymore. I was down for you, babe, now I see it in your face. Someone put you in your place. I don't wanna see you anymore. Yeah, I'm done with the fake. Think we need a little space. Someone put you in your place. I don't wanna love you. All the nights you did me wrong.
So much of this show's success is owed to the opening theme. Every time I hear bum 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 bum, I just can't help but get excited. Unfortunately, this uplifting experience just makes it all the worse every time this season disappoints me. So, yes, I'm giving the theme a sin for being too good.
Discount Jeremy sins something he likes cliche.
I still don't know how her coin has landed, but I'm quite certain about yours.
Being certain about other people's coins.
Was that meant as a joke? 'Cause it definitely wasn't funny.
I have known more kings and queens than any man living. I've heard what they say to crowds and seen what they do in the shadows.
If Nandor the Relentless shows up right now and claims the throne, and then we cut to Colin Robinson talking Tyrion to death, I'll give back every single sin in the history of the channel.
Discount Jeremy makes a pop culture reference that isn't a sin of the episode cliche.
Because you told him. You learned from Sansa, and she learned from Jon.
And the knee bone's connected to the thigh bone.
Skip.
It's dark as in this room, Varys. I'm not sure if you can see it hiding in the shadows, but I think I just found a rare undercandling sin.
Except if Varys is able to do his work with this amount of candles, which he is, then your sin is not valid. So guess what? Your sin is not valid.
20 seconds of Varys walking to his execution without Hannah wadding him in her shame bell.
Maybe it was meant as a really shitty joke that nobody laughed at, but why would you want the Septas and their shame bells in this scene? It wouldn't make any sense.
I hope I deserve this. Truly I do. I hope I'm wrong. Goodbye, old friend.
I know we aren't in the habit of taking sins off for this disastrous season, but Varys may be one of the most complex and interesting characters in the history of television, and could only exist on a show like Thrones. Conlethil is amazing, and we have to pour one sin out for the incredible Varys.
I agree that the character was incredible in the early seasons, and my boy Conleth did a remarkable job bringing him to life, but these later seasons take that incredible character and turn him into a caveman with his level of stupidity, so taking a sin off is dumb.
Forgetting to bring the hot dogs to the campfire cookout.
Making unfunny jokes that nobody is going to laugh at.
This was all she brought with her when we crossed the narrow sea. Her only possession.
I guess today is just a day to burn everything. I'm just glad this stops now before she burns our entire ability to relate to her as a character and undoes 7 seasons of brilliant character development.
7 seasons? My guy, my genuine man. I believe you mean 4 seasons of phenomenal development, 1 season of very shaky development, and then 3 seasons of utter bullshit. We don't need to lie and act as if season 7 was anything other than a dumpster fire.
Can't expect them to be heroes. They're hostages.
Look, Tyrion's clearly right through most of this scene, and the way Daenerys ignores him is befuddling and frustrating. But to insinuate that hostages can't be heroes is to ignore history, human nature, and common sense. You might even argue that hostages have a better chance at being heroes because of the inherent risk in their situation.
Yes, but what he meant was that these hostages specifically don't have the option of heroism and are more or less innocent. You don't need to take things out of context to sin them, especially in this season.
30 seconds of boating. Sorry, I didn't see that one coming. Despite what you've heard from Lonely Island, there really isn't anything exciting going on here.
Discount Jeremy makes a Lonely Island pop culture reference that isn't a sin of the episode cliche.
To be honest, I never really cared much for them. Innocent or otherwise.
Tyrion says you do care for one innocent, instead of saying, that seems dumb. The writers have shown you act selflessly multiple times throughout the show, so you saying this now, even insincerely, kind of undoes a good deal of your character development.
Alright, let me take the reins for a second. First, in the previous episode, you claimed that Jaime had done nothing that wasn't self-serving up to that point, so we should feel no sympathy for him. But now you're contradicting that statement. This sin is for your very obvious inconsistency. And second, you missed the biggest sin in this scene, which is that back in Season 3, Jaime confesses what happened in King's Landing to Brienne, mentioning how he killed King Aerys to save the innocents, but this scene here single-handedly throws out that amazing scene and his amazing character development.
Thinking this discount stayed bonnet staring off into the distance would distract us from all the gratuitous boat and arrow porn.
Can I just ask why a TV show having boats and arrows in it is a sin? Seriously, why is this show having a naval fleet a mistake? That makes all the no sense.
This entire city is now in panic mode in anticipation of an attack, but how do they even know it's coming today, at this moment? I'm sure there are plenty of ways the news could have made it to Cersei and then filtered down to the common folk, but why is the show just assuming we'll fill in the gaps for it?
So you admit that the audience is expected to fill in the gaps on their own, but you still sin this? That's stupid.
Jamie does his best Assassin's Creed impression, but sadly this won't alter my disdain for his arc in this season.
Discount Jeremy makes a pop culture reference that isn't a sin of the episode cliche.
These two will now stand in for all the innocent lives about to be lost, because this season needed one more thing to spend time on that wasn't the natural progression of the character arcs of the 317 main characters they were already failing.
I agree with the part about not spending any time with the character arcs, but the part about focusing on random people is dumb because that's been a television trope for a very long time. During scenes of mass destruction or chaos, movies and TV shows often focus the audience on a specific group of people or a singular person to show that destruction and chaos through their eyes. Why is that a sin?
Okay, one more walking sin, but only because it goes on for so long that I'm pretty sure it's just there to pad the runtime. And Jamie's moving against traffic, which is like the most egregious thing a person could do in such a situation.
Why are you criticizing Jamie for moving against traffic? He's trying to get to the Red Keep, not evacuate with everyone else. What don't you get about this?
Fire!
Being upset that you got the exact thing you just asked for.
Unfunny joke is unfunny.
The entire Dothraki horde decided to let discount Matt Smith live so that we can get some Grey Worm vengeance. And I'm all for some Grey Worm vengeance, but the Dothraki don't strike me as being tuned into the ideas of narrative flourish while sporting full-on murder boners.
Discount Jeremy says boner.
And now the chorus of people asking for the bells to be rung will begin, but once again, how do any of these people know about the bell plan?
The soldiers obviously knew about it from their superiors, and the civilians heard the soldiers calling for it, so they also took up the cry. It's really not that hard to figure this out.
And so begins one of the stupidest and nonsensical character decisions in television history. Not only has the city surrendered, not only has Dany's entire thing been about freeing the innocent, and not only are there at least a half dozen other ways to get revenge on or kill Cersei without harming the innocent, this is the worst way to accomplish her overall goals. She's literally destroying her own ability to lead. This whole thing is so terrible, I'm giving the show a sin for every single innocent person she kills, and I'm counting them all.
Okay, he makes some really good points here and continues giving a shitload of sins for the unnecessary deaths, which is awesome. So I'm taking off a sin.
War hero watches carnage and horrors play out in slow motion cliché.
As much as I'm loving this part of the video, you misused the word cliché.
If I win, I'll bring your head to Cersei so you can kiss her. One last time.
Of all the dumb things for this dumb episode of this dumb season of this not dumb show to spend its dumb time on, we're going with Euron versus Jaime.
Yup, I agree with you again. Take another sin back.
Sandor, thank you.
I kind of dig that Arya lets go of revenge and lives another day, but honestly, her turn is just as unearned as Dany's. She's been a stone-cold assassin hell-bent on her list, and all it takes is a 5-second stern talking to turn her around.
Discount Jeremy sins something he likes cliché. Not that I disagree with the sin, but still, we've got traditions to uphold.
We'll now cut in between the somewhat interesting Clegane match and the much more uninteresting part where Arya walks out of the city while feeling empathy towards random strangers. Cutting away from excitement to boredom? What do you think you are, a Star Wars show?
I'm gonna be nitpicky for a second and point out the fact that Clegane Bowl is not exciting at all because it's stupid and mind-numbing.
You can't stay here.
Yep, this is the same lady that Arya saw trying to get into the keep, and the same lady who helped her up in the street. Her name's Nora. That's right, she conveniently pops up so much that they named her in the subtitles. She accidentally leads herself into this plot so much that if Arya's American history, Nora's freaking Forrest Gump.
Like I explained earlier, focusing on a group of people or even one random person is a common trope in movies and TV shows where destructive scenes of chaos happen, so I still don't know why this is a sin.
The possible death of Arya has been teased so much in this one episode that her plot armor is beginning to rust from overuse.
Yup, agreed. Arya should have died a solid 10 times in this episode. Take one more sin back, damn it.
All I can think of as this ash rains down is that King's Landing has entered the Upside Down, and now I'm just mad Stranger Thrones doesn't exist.
Discount Jeremy makes a pop culture reference that isn't a sin of the episode cliché.
Looking a gift horse in its convenient mouth.
So you're just gonna make this dumb and unfunny joke instead of actually talking about why this whole Jesus horse bullshit is stupid? Damn, this is the level TVSins has sunk to.
I'm sure it was in self-defense.
No, I just felt like killing.